Good morning, everybody. Well, I hope y'all are doing good. Out here messing around my boat, getting ready to go to Lake Erie next week for the last Bass Nation qualifier, and I just resorting through some stuff, make sure everything's good to go on my boat, and thought I'd talk with you a little bit about some things that I keep in my boat that I keep them in there all the time. I've always kept these kind of things in my boat. These are all things you really hope you don't need, but all really important things. Don't use them often, but I'll list out some of the things I keep in my boat all the time. And first things first, I always keep a spare prop. Now, I have fished with some, I'm talking full-time pros that don't have a spare prop for their outboard. I know props are expensive, but you can buy a cheap aluminum. This does not have to be the same prop that you've spent a ton of money on to make your boat perform. It can be anything that'll fit your engine that might get your boat just on plane. Anything to get you in. I always keep a spare prop. Always. Like, I don't care where I'm going, I will have a spare prop for my outboard, no matter what. With that, I keep a spare thrust washer, keeper, and a nut. You never know, you drop that nut trying to change the prop out there. This way you never have to worry about that. I always keep both of those. That way, spin a hub, throw a blade, you can get in. I don't know how many times I've heard guys that they lost the tournament because they could not make it in because they threw a blade off their prop, when it's so simple to cure that problem. So always a spare prop. Same way with my trolling motor. I always carry a spare trolling motor prop. These bend coated props are super tough. I just, when I change out, this is a used one I've used up. I keep it for a spare. I've also got a shear pin taped to it. I always keep that. And I keep a nut kit. It's got shear pins in it, the washers I need to change a trolling motor prop. It's all right there. Just real basic stuff. Another thing I always keep is an extra kill lanyard and the apparatus that goes in my kill cord. Mine has a really funky kill switch, so I always keep that. And then this one fits a newer style in case I have a buddy or something. But I always keep an extra kill lanyard. You never know, you might blow it out or lose your life jacket. Who knows? It had your kill lanyard on it, or break this little plastic piece. Always keep that. I always keep a spare trolling motor handle. This one I got to put a new rope in it, but I always keep the handle and a piece of rope for my trolling motor, so where you pull rope. I know everybody uses the new steel ones, but I've had all them break too, but I keep this as a spare. Another thing I keep is always, which, legally I think you have to have one, is an air horn. So I can, if I'm stranded, I can make a lot of noise. Two other things, I keep 2 trim relays. So this goes to my power trim on my outboard. I keep 2 spare relays. When it comes to minor repairs and things like that, I keep a bag here. This little bag's got butt connectors, this is probably one of the most, a test light. Man, you can figure out whether you got power, don't have power, something. Just a basic cheap test light will save the day. I've got zip ties in here. I've got fuses. I've got blade type fuses that fit my boat. A couple rolls of electrical tape. Just anything that you could fix, probably an electrical type problem real quick, a broken wire. I keep that in there. I keep a set of 4 or 5 spark plugs. I have had a cowling where I impacted a stump one time, broke 2 spark plugs off. You can still save the day if you foul a plug out or something crazy like that. At least on my old outboard, a spread spark plug is always going to save the day. Just some miscellaneous nuts, screws, some clamps like for a gas hose or something like that. If you have something happen, you can fix a hose. I also keep spare nuts for my batteries. So how many times you went to change a battery, or you're going to hook some cables to hook something else on the next one, the nut flips off and goes down to the bottom of the boat. I keep those nuts in there. That way, if you drop one, you can get your battery hooked back up, keep going. Another thing, I always keep a spare boat plug in this area all the time. a little bottle of just, I keep real oil up at the front, but I put this bottle in there just for like a starter or anything I might need a drop of oil for. Just handy. I keep that with that. Another thing I keep that's, I feel like is really important is this is like a regular boat strap that you wrap your boat up with, but I use it as a tow, like a tow rope. And I put a hook on each end. So you know how many times, if you've ever been there and you're wanting to get towed in, you know, these things are like 20 feet long. They're super strong. This way, instead of trying to tie a rope to your boat and another guy's boat, you just lash the hook on, lash the hook to the back of your boat, and you're going. Hardly ever do you need a tow in a time that you have plenty of time to be tying knots and figure out what to do. Plus, when you get where you're going, you're not taking your pocket knife trying to cut a rope off. You can just unsnap it and get on your way. So super handy. Again, it's one of the things you don't want to ever use, but you got to have it. Also keep extra tie-up rope just for, say, tying a dock. Let's say my boat breaks down, I need to tie it on the shore somewhere. I keep a nice piece of rope. I keep a few extra bungee cords. These are really handy for little old things. Another thing I always keep is a tow strap or a ratchet strap. Just a nice, heavy, decent, medium duty ratchet strap. Man, you can strap a trolling motor back down that maybe got broke off or anything that could happen. You could use this strap to save the day. Another thing is I keep one of these. Now this is a set of clips that goes to like a phone charger type deal. So let's say you lose power in your entire boat, but you need to keep your phone charged or something like that. This way I can always clip directly to my battery, hook a phone charger or anything else up to it, and get power where maybe my other receptacles in the boat don't work. Just handy. I always keep one of those in there. A strap for my trolling motor, it wraps all the way around to hold it down. Now here's one that's really handy. Now this is 2 decent pieces of wire. So this is about 6 or 8 feet long, just I don't know, medium gauge wire with outer alligator clips on both ends. Now you can save the day with this. You can, if you lose power or a trim relay or something, you can take this and jump across and make something work. So you can clip it to each side of your, you know, in positive, negative, your battery and make something work. Make a pump work, make anything where maybe you've lost power. This is one of the handiest things in the world to just get some simple power somewhere. I always keep that in there. I also have an extra one that's a little smaller. Another thing is I keep one of these. This is one of those screwdrivers that'll take sockets, and then one that uses like Phillips blades. So it'll take all kinds of different tips for a screwdriver and a socket up to say a 1/2 inch or so. And I keep a spark plug socket in there. Just basic little tools that you could change a nut, undo a screw, whatever with. Another thing I keep is 2 Crescent wrenches, 2 pairs of channel locks. They're just basic tools that, I mean, I know these ain't the best thing for undoing nuts with, but when you're in a bad situation, you're not worried about boogering up the head of a nut or something. You just need to get something done. So I always keep those. Those will cover a lot of different things. My prop wrench, this is just the one I like to use to change my prop nut with. And I keep a 9/16 wrench. This changes my trolling motor prop nut and my battery nuts on all my batteries. I can use this. I use those instead of wing nuts. A lot tighter, and I keep this wrench handy all the time. I always keep a few pieces of just random wire, just some good wire to patch up something or keep something going. Just something I've always done. A pair of gloves, like kind of thick gloves that, you know, if something's hot or something like that, you can grab a hold of. Just a set of jumper cables. I always keep a set of those. Again, you don't want to ever use them, but. And one thing I keep is, this is called zip tape. Now this is for flashing, like doing outdoor flashing on your house and things like that. This stuff makes Gorilla Tape look like nothing. This is some of the baddest to the bone tape I've ever seen in my life. One of my contractors, he does a lot of siding, and I score up some piece rolls from him. I keep a roll of this in my boat all the time. This tape right here will stick in the water. If something's wet, it will still stick and it will not come unstuck. It's unbelievable. It's way better than the old 100-mile-an-hour tape we used to use. And you can stop a leak. You can tape something down. You can do just about anything with this stuff. As far as patching up something, it is bad to the bone and ultra sticky, and it'll stick when it's wet. So super handy. I keep a piece roll of this in there all the time. I keep a couple, the system I use for my aerators pumps air from the outside into stones. I keep a few extra stones in here as well. Another thing I keep is a pitcher. Now, you may think that's kind of whatever. I'm going to tell you what, this pitcher right here has saved the day so many times for me. Say an aerator quits, something stops pumping water, you can fill a live well up really fast with this thing, and you can also bail water. There's times that, I remember spearing a few waves that I probably wasn't helping that much, but it made me feel better. I was bailing water out while my pumps were running. You can just do so much with a water pitcher to get water out of the boat, get water in your live wells. And I keep 2 old school clear weigh-in bags. That way, if I'm with a co-angler or whatever and we get stranded or we have boat trouble and we need to get in with our fish, we both have a bag to put our fish in and get into another boat and make it in. And I also keep this one, it's kind of like an old gunny sack bag. It's got hole, it's perforated, that if I want to put my fish in it and then set them down into another boat's live well, that keeps them separated but in the same water, I can use that bag as well to keep my fish in the water and aerated till we get back in. So those are all just basic little things. In one of these bags I keep extra light bulbs for my running lights, all those little things like that. Just simple stuff that you just probably don't want to ever need any of this stuff, but I don't know how many times I've needed it, or it saved the day. It kept me from having to lose a tournament or not make it in or anything like that over something really simple. And truth of the matter is, none of this stuff is really that expensive to, and I've got a little area in the back of my boat where my batteries are at that I store all this stuff. Again, it's stuff I check it every now and then, make sure everything's still there, because obviously I don't want to have to use any of it. So I just check it every now and then. I also keep a regular throw cushion and a piece of rope just for that I keep in that area as well. And that covers the day. If you have anything bigger than these problems will solve, well, you're probably gonna need to put your fish in one of these bags and try to get yourself to the weigh-in another way, or have someone bring you to a boat ramp and get your trailer there so you can get in. So just thought y'all might find that interesting. These are all just cool things that you ought to keep in your boat all the time just to get through one of those times. So hope y'all have a good day. I'm gonna continue getting my stuff ready. I can't wait to go fishing. See y'all later.